Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is Nashville at the 21st century, and we're fortunate to have with us to talk about some of the developments dealing with Nashville, Tennessee at the 21st century, the mayor of Nashville, Tennessee, Mayor KDean. And of course, KDean, let me welcome you, Mayor, to the show this morning.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
And to tell you how delighted we are to have you here with us, Mayor Dean. As a matter of fact, I think we've had over the last many years almost every person who has been mayor of the city of Nashville and that place at one time or another, and we certainly appreciate your willingness to come and to talk to us about some of the things that are happening in Nashville and some of the things that you have in terms of what you would like to see happen in Nashville. But before we get into that, Mayor Dean, let's give you an opportunity to talk about your background, your education, and give our audience some idea in terms of how you got to where you are today, and then we'll talk about other things.
Okay, well, I was actually born in South Dakota, and I am 52 years old now, and I grew up in a small town in Massachusetts named Gardner, which is about 60 miles west of Boston. I graduated from high school and went to college at Columbia in New York City, and then I moved to Nashville to go to law school in 1978. And while in law school, I met a woman named Ann Davis, who is a lifelong resident of Nashville. And Ann persuaded me that Nashville is where I wanted to live, and she's a lawyer here now in town, and we have 3 kids.
Okay.
And then as a young lawyer, I became an assistant public defender, and then ran for the office of public defender in 1990, and was reelected in 94 and 98. In 1999, Mayor Purcell asked me to be the city's law director, you know, essentially run the city's law department and to be the chief lawyer for the city. And I did that up until January of 2007, when I resigned to run for mayor. And then I went through that campaign and was elected in September and took office just a little less than 5 weeks ago, 5 months ago, excuse me.
And I think by now, after being at least, what, 5 months on the job, Mayor, you should be able to give us a fairly good idea in terms of some of the things that are going on in Nashville at this time. And if you would do that, I would like to see if we might be able to talk about some of what you might consider to be the priority items of your administration, you know, about some of the things that are really, after 5 months, that people are really concerned about, and we could talk about it the rest of this segment as well as the rest of the show.
Okay.
So desire.
Sure. I mean, I think the main issues, and I talked about this in the campaign, I think I've been very clear about the things that I think the city needs to focus on. And those are public education, public safety, and economic development. You know, during the course of the campaign, I talked about things being connected. And specifically, what I mean by that is that I think if you have a good public education system, you're going to see benefits of that in terms of public safety. We know that kids who stay in school are much less likely to get into trouble, that high school graduates are much less likely to have trouble. So it's a positive thing for public safety. Having a strong school system also pays dividends in economic development. Employers and companies that are looking to expand or to relocate look for cities where their employees can have good schools to send their kids to. So I think if you focus on those 3 things, public safety, public education, economic development, the city will be in good shape.
Well, I'll tell you what we can do, Mayor. Let's look at those 3 items, those 3 areas, and to have you to talk to our audience this morning about some of the things that are being done in reference to this. For example, I think you talk about economic development, and I would imagine that a large number of people would like to know something about the convention center, that discussion, and etc. So, you know, within the time that we have and the way that you wish to present it, let's do it that way.
Okay. Well, one of the issues, the convention center is something that I definitely favor. And last week, the council voted 40-0 to allow pre-planning work to go forth. So we've picked a location, we're going to hire people to do a design, we're going to study the operations of the building. So that's the development stage. It's going to begin now. I support a new convention center because the current convention center is just too small. It's actually, in terms of its ranking, is size as the one in Fargo, North Dakota, and Peoria, Illinois. And I think as a city, we're much more attractive to convention business. We can compete with the current convention center, about 20% of the convention business. You build a new one, we'll be able to compete for over 70% of it. We'll be able to attract over 1 million visitors to Nashville every year who will bring in their money and buy things and contribute to our economy. I think Nashville is a great convention destination because of our identity as Music City. You know, we have the Country Music Hall of Fame, the Symphony, the Frisk Museum, the Ryman, and all the honky-tonks downtown, and people will want to come to Nashville.
Let me interrupt here, Mayor, for our first commercial break, after which we'll come back and we'll allow you to pick that up. Of course, we'll be back with you following this very, very short commercial break. Our guest is Mayor